G'day YouTube, Down to Bricks here. I've got a city update for you guys today. Pretty stoked with this because it's the third update in the third month running. So pretty stoked with that, and also very stoked to finally have this little project that I've been working on. I've got an old town in the city. So as you've heard in the last couple of updates, I've been working on this. It's just been a matter of getting all the 1x1 plates in and really loving how it's come up. So welcome to Old Town. So this is more or less just a tourist district now in Dub City, and it's just a combination of the medieval market village set and Diagon Alley. So love these old buildings that Lego have done and really wanted to put them in the city. So really happy with that, how that's turned out. Let me know what you think about Old Town. So what else is new in the city? I have added some more pine trees. So you can see they go right around the track now. I think there's a little bit more fencing as well. Can't really remember if I've done that or not, but definitely more pine trees. Had quite a few people ask about these pine trees. There is a tutorial on my channel, so if you want to see how to make them, you can check them out. It is pretty easy. I'll go in for a close look here. You can pretty much see how they're done. The other thing I was asked about too is the train track. That was from Osbricks23. He wanted to know about just a little bit more about how I sort of leveled out this corner track. So I said I'd give him a bit more of a closer look. So the way I've done that is on this end here, I've just raised it, the track one plate. So it sits up on one plate, and then the track runs onto these tiles here, and then just to help hold it down a little bit more, I just use these slopes onto jumpers. So you just got to work out how you can position those to lock them in. And then as we go around onto the main straight that really holds the whole thing down, it just clips back onto the base plate here. So it's not one plate high anymore, and you can see there's the difference there. So you get this little bit of a gap there, but yeah, you don't really notice that, and it keeps the track locked down nice and firm. Now something else a few people mentioned was they thought that, you know, it was a little bit barren down here, that I should have more buildings, and it didn't sort of really match with the green base plates. So as I sort of said in the last update, I've got to display the Avengers Tower in June, so I don't want to do anything too permanent here just yet. Once I display it, I will be positioning the tower in there in a more permanent position, and I will match up, I'll blend in the park to the Grand Emporium a little better. But until that happens, I don't want to do too much. I had a great suggestion. Who was that from? It was from M. Venesois, that he actually really liked the look of the stone work in front of the station, but he said that I should slope from the tiled section down into the rocks, and I thought that was a good idea. So I've put the cheese slopes in there just to see how that looked, and I actually think that looks a lot better. So thanks for that idea, mate. Just another look at Old Town. Mayo Hosco suggested I should have a car park in the city. I normally don't like having too much space like that wasted lot for car parks. I'd rather try and have it for buildings or the like. But I did think it was a good idea to have a car park where they can come into the train station or the town park or into Old Town. So I've put in 3 bays there. So thought that turned out pretty good. I'm just waiting here to get some more tiles just to make a better entrance into Old Town. but there's all sorts of going on. The other thing people really supportive for was the look of the road going over the train track, so really appreciate that, guys. Had a couple of people suggest it was bricking it up and Paul's bricks, so I should continue the white line down the center just to show that, you know, just to highlight the road a little better. I did do that initially, but of course to do that I can use jumpers to put the white line in so it matches up, so it centers, but then I have little gaps. And originally I did do it, I sort of just did a little bit, and I sort of, I didn't really like the gap, so I took it out and just tiled the whole thing. But this time I actually did the whole white line right to the end, and I actually think that does look better. So thanks for that idea, guys. And the boom gate, so I've put the boom gate in, and I think that just adds a little extra as well. Got the train signal crossing there as well. Still waiting on another dark bluish grey slope to go in there. I have ordered one. I should get it sometime this week, so next update that should be swapped out. The other thing with the track is the white line has been done on the outside now, so I finally got in the plate and tile to do all that, and so I've got the white line running right down now. Okay, so let's make our way down, see what else has been done. If you guys want to see what our city was like before we started to make these changes, I suggest you go and have a look at our older updates before we added the third table. Probably the best one is update 4. That was probably when the city was looking at its best. So if you want to have a look at that, please go and check that out. But yeah, as we go down now, the city really starts to get more of a mess, but that's okay. You can't get it all done straight away, so really enjoyed just taking our time with this. And you can see here we've done a fair bit of work down here, just working out exactly how we're going to lay these buildings out. So the idea here is we're going to have the bigger buildings along the back, and we're going to have the town apartments along the front here. So I sort of really like how we've sort of come up with this. It's been a bit of a job thinking how we're going to sit all the modulars. So the plan here is I'm going to add 2 more of these apartment blocks. I don't want to have them together like this. Originally we mirror built one of these apartments, and now I'm going to actually pull it apart and change it back to how it was, so each staircase is apart. So I'm going to have 2 more of these, so that's going to go in here. So we've just sat that in there for now. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. By building 2 more of these, we're actually going to lift the height of the pet shop a little bit. So you can see one has been done already. I just want to put that in, see what it looked like. So I'll be lifting the other side, so that'll make the pet shop a little bigger as well. So I think this end of town's really starting to come together. I'm going to have to do a fair bit of work. If I come around the back here, you can see I've got half a base plate basically, or a little bit wider with the edge of the road to do something with. So not too sure. I might just sort of make a bit of a laneway or something there. Not really a laneway, just a bit of a pedestrian walkway, and I might use that area to sort of change a few things up and put sig figs in each week and tell a bit of a story. Oh, not each week, each month. Move the old picture theatre down into here as well. So as I said, really sort of happy with the way this end of town's going, and now as we move down it really starts to sort of, you know, drop off a little bit. There's a lot of holes along the back. We did build that little crane which came with the was it the city corner, city square, I can't remember what it was called now. It had this this bike shop in it and that pizza shop that's in the park, so I never end up building that crane. So we've finally put that together. It's a cool little build actually. So yeah, we've swapped out more of the modulars along the back here, brought them to the front a little bit. I know that looks really sort of gappy along the back now, but we will be adding more buildings into there over time. That was one of the comments that some people didn't really like where I had each of the modulars, but it's really just a case of we're just trying things at the moment and seeing what it's like. The brick bank, as much as I love the look of the brick bank, overall though I think it's way too small. I'm not a big fan of, even though I really like the bank and I really like the laundry, I'm not a big fan of them having them together like that. The other thing is I don't really need another corner building, so definitely going to be changing up the brick bank. So I've just put that there for now, but yeah, it's definitely going to have some changes done to the brick bank. So if we come down this way, turn the church around. Again, a lot of work needed just to tidy all this up. Not quite sure how I'm going to do that with the church here. I think there's going to be some major changes there. I do really like having the restaurant here at the end of the block here. I think that looks pretty cool, so I'll probably leave that there. The other thing we talked about was the road, having the road come straight through. Now, a lot of people said that was a good idea to get rid of the road plates, create more room. Some other people said that it actually was good because it gave the city a bit of a different feel. It changed things up a little bit, and I'm kind of in agreement with that. As much as I want to create more space, I do agree with that. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to keep this corner here, but I'm going to take out the corner going back around here. So it'll come around the corner and go straight into the residential area. So you can see here I've made one little change here, and I've moved the school into behind the Palace Cinema. Now if you're wondering what's going to happen with the Palace Cinema and next to that, I'm actually going to build another Palace Cinema. Well, it's not really another, I'm actually going to really modify the whole building, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping I might be able to get onto that in the next couple of months anyway. But yeah, I really want to change up this Palace Cinema, and that's going to sort of highlight the end of town before we come into the residential. Along the front here I have these smaller shops. I've just sat them in there, that's not fixed in there yet. And as we come down, it actually just really gets bad now. It's a right mess, so that's okay. A lot of work to be done down this end. Also had a couple of suggestions from Mardi Gras Man 23 and James Doble that I really needed to have an exit out of the farm area across the tracks, like a road exit. I will be looking at something like that, but there's so much work to be done down this end. I'm really working out ideas, but I do want to have some sort of elevated area down in this farm area, so I'll try and work in what I can do with a exit. I may even put an exit down this way somewhere. I'm not exactly sure, but it's something I will look at once we get down to this end of the table. But as I said, my main focus at the moment is for the city. I really want to start having a look at this centre section here and fixing that up and doing something with that. My main problem that I have here is where I've got the train station, sort of just with this track going back here, it just sort of closes up this gap a little bit and just makes it a little bit harder to work with. But I do really like the station there, so I don't want to move the train station, so I just have to try and work something out around that. Well guys, I think that's about it. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about it, the changes that I've made, and what you think of Old Town. I know it's probably not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I wanted something a little bit different here, and I think that sort of does stand out as being a little bit different. So let me know what you think. Love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. If you want to see what's going to happen with the city, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll stay up to date with all the city updates. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.